Got a bit of an interesting one for you here. John McGuire guitars. Before we talk about the guitar, tiny history lesson. Back in the 80s and very early 90s, there was a company called Valley Arts Guitars. You may have seen the guitars I play and wondered what they are, but generally I either play an old Valley Arts guitar or sometimes a Tyler or a Stratocaster. So I'm quite familiar with those guitars and quite fond of them. They're very rare and quite sought after. Now, that company, Valley Arts, was run by Mike McGuire. Mike McGuire ran the company with Martin Miranda until the factory burnt down in 1992. So there are only less than 3,000 Valley Arts guitars in the world. Mike McGuire went on to work for the Gibson custom shop. So if you've got a custom shop Gibson between the mid-90s to to 2010, when I think he retired around about that time, that was overseen by Mike McGuire. John McGuire is his son. So John has taken up the family trait of building great guitars and has started his own company. John McGuire Guitars. So this is an example sent to us for review. This is in a Triburst, which, to be honest, isn't my sort of favourite finish, because I've seen some of the finishes he does, and they're just, breathtaking. He does some great tricks with burning the wood and then staining it various colours. And he assures me he will do any finish you require. But this is coming Triburst. It's very reminiscent of a 70s Strat. I've got a 73 Strat that looks exactly like this in this colour. Okay, so let's just talk about the specifics of the guitar, starting at the headstock. If I turn it over, I like this little sticker just here, made in the USA. Always good to see that, personally for me. Hipshot lock-in tuners. The tuning stability on this guitar is ridiculously good, and I'm pretty hard on the guitar when it comes to the whammy bar, and it's just so rock solid. There's a couple of things that's helping it in that the nut is a nylon, an old school nylon nut. It's a really hard nut, but it's very, very slippery. So this is a real quality thing to have if you don't go for locking. If you don't go for a locking nut when you're using a whammy bar, this is a great nut to have. Also, the whole pattern for the tuners is different to most guitars, because it allows for direct string pull, which means it follows the taper of the bridge. So it follows the taper of the fretboard from the bridge to the tuner. So the string is always sort of got a direct string pull, and it works really, really well. The whammy, it's very, very smooth, and the pull up on this, bit of a minor third, a little bit more than a minor third. The trem is actually a Hipshot trem. Push-in arm thing where there's a nylon sleeve that grips it, and underneath, when you probably can't see it, but underneath just there's a little Allen key which you can adjust the tension of how you want the arm. I don't like any play in the arm whatsoever, and I just want to put it somewhere and it stays. So that's a really nice addition. Back to the neck, leaping. Here we go. The neck is a maple neck, and it's really very, very comfortable. It's I wouldn't say it's a skinny neck. It's a 10 to 16 compound radius. Very comfortable. Very I don't know. It's just one of those necks you pick up and go, oh, that's nice. Also, it's got a rosewood board. We got the frets are 605, which I do believe were the same frets that were on my Valley Arts guitars. And just as a little, leaping back to that Valley Arts thing, I do like this, the design of the headstock. This is very, this is a nod to the Valley Arts headstock. Because I've got an old Valley Arts guitar here. If you check it out, you can see it's got that little notch in the same place. So that's a nice touch from John, you know, giving respect to his dad, I guess. Yeah, it's a nice little touch. The pickups on this are tone vault pickups. They're made by Tone Vault Technologies, and I think they're called Vault pickups. They've got they're custom wound a little bit for John. John has a little requirement about them, but they have a very nice, sort of organic sound to them. That's the outer face. Here's the neck picking. And they clean up real nicely as you back the pot down. Neck pickup, the middle pickup sounds quite great. Here's the neck and the middle pick up together. Here's the neck pickup. The body on this is a solid piece of swamp ash. Swamp ash is a great tone wood. Flipping it over, this neck joint is called the tone socket. It's a one. You put the Allen key in, flip it like that, and it just releases. What this does is it gives the sort of resonance of a glued-in neck, if you imagine a set neck, and it's a real great design. This is not a new design because there were about 16 Valley Arts guitars made with this idea going on, and it's a great idea, and I'm glad John has brought it back because it really does make a difference to the resonance of the guitar. This guitar is extremely resonant. Also on the neck, it's got a little. Apparently, I don't know if you can see that, but the adjustment for the truss rod is just here. Apparently, this is a Goto adjustment made by Goto. Great positive pots, lovely feel, 5-way switch, pretty much it. And all finishes that John does are nitro cellulose, not a poly finish. So a lot of labour goes into it, and it ages really, really well. A nitro finish will always just, as it gets older, it looks cooler, whereas a poly finish is I guess, much harder wearing, but slightly soulless in that you're coating your guitar in plastic and it's sort of impervious to scratches. Sometimes as you play a guitar and it gets older and more beaten up, it starts to look cool, especially with nitro finishes. So this is a seriously good quality guitar. Please check out John's website for the finishes. They've now got John has now got a distributor for Europe, which is Q Guitars in the Netherlands. You know, this is a great guitar. It's so resonant, and the whammy bar and the pickups is great. It's one of those guitars you instantly, as soon as you pick it up and you play one chord, you can hear the quality in there. So not much else to say really. I'm very, very impressed. Just not a fan of this Triburst finish, because I've seen such beautiful finishes that John does. But this was sent to us for review by Q Guitars. So please, if you're, you know, although it's kind of retro, it does sort of have a vibe. It's sort of a workhorse kind of finish. It's not that pretty finish that you're going to worry about knocking or scratching. So it does have a vibe, I guess, but it's just not the one I would choose if I was going to have one made by John. So all in all, a great resonant, great sounding, great playing. Just it plays like butter all over the neck. It's not plexed. John has hand finished this neck and hand finished the frets, and there's no dead spots anywhere. It just really, really sings. It's just, you know, it sings. It's so full of sustain and resonance. Feels great in the hand. Even the maple just has a sort of nice that velvet feel to it. It's not got a high gloss finish on it, and it's you know, it's got that sort of velvet, almost like bare wood finish to it. So please check out John's guitars. He will make any specification you want. He does Floyd Rose, he does hardtails, he does P90 pickups. You know, he'll do any sort of, if you can imagine the specification, it can be made for you. And he's certainly got a range of guitars that does it. We got humbucker, single coil, and the Hipshot trem for this one. But you can just as easily have a Floyd or a hardtail with any pickups you like in it, with any finish. So a great guitar maker to watch out for. And if you fancy one of these, get in touch with Q Guitars if you're in Europe, or John directly if you're in the States. John McGuire Guitars, very cool.